Hey guys, Mr. Gran here, lesson 2.4. This is slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. In this lesson we're going to talk about just what it means to be parallel and what it means to be perpendicular. All right, so parallel lines, they have the same slopes. Now if we are in 2D space, they have the same slopes and these never touch. Two parallel lines never touch. If you think about like train tracks, right? They can go on forever and they never get any closer or further away from each other, right? They're perfectly parallel. They just keep going and they never touch. So they would look something like this. They have the same slope. We'll talk about what slope is in a second, but the slope is like how steep the line is on the graph. So if they are the exact same slope, then they're just going to keep going. They're never going to get any closer or any further apart from one another. With a perpendicular slope, perpendicular slopes are opposite reciprocals. So what does that mean? Opposite reciprocal means that we change the sign. That's what opposite means. So it's the opposite sign. So change sign. So go from like positive to negative or negative to positive. And then reciprocal means to flip the fraction. Right? So for example, if we had something like 3/5 as our slope, the opposite reciprocal, the perpendicular line, would have a slope that is -5/3. So we're changing from positive to negative or negative to positive, and then we're flipping the fraction. So let's look at a quick diagram of this. So if we have a slope that looks like this, what the perpendicular slope would be is it crosses at a perpendicular angle, meaning a 90-degree angle. Perpendicular lines meet at a 90-degree angle. So you can see why if this one has a positive slope, it's going up as we go left to right. The perpendicular one has to be a negative slope because it's crossing it at a perpendicular angle, so it's going down as it goes from left to right. All right, so one thing that we start out with a lot with something like this is just some basics like given a slope, what is a slope that's parallel? What's a slope that's perpendicular? Well, parallel, that's kind of the easy one, right? Because it's equal, right? So this is 2/5. Perpendicular, we got to change it to a negative, right? From a positive to a negative, and then make it 5/2, flip the fraction. Okay? With this one, same thing. Parallel, it's equal, so the parallel slope is also going to be -8. Perpendicular, we have to change it from a negative to a positive, and then we have to flip the fraction. But how do we flip the fraction? Well, if it's a whole number like this, it's really that whole number over 1. If there's no number for the fraction, you can always put it over 1. Now I've got a fraction that I can flip. We'll make it positive, and we'll flip it to 1/8. All right, same thing with this one. Same idea. Our parallel slopes are the same, so 1/6 here. And then -6/1, or we can just make it -6, right? We don't need it over 1. And then parallel, it's going to be the same, so -4/3. And then for perpendicular, we're going to flip it. So positive, and then 3/4.